Hello guys! Now we're going to learn English vocabulary and conversation for trips. So at the top of the page, we can see the vocabulary list. So I'll read these for you, and you can repeat after me to practice pronunciation. Bus, bus. Plane, plane. Bicycle, bicycle. Train, train. Ferry, ferry. On foot, on foot. I'm going somewhere on foot. Taxi, taxi. Car and motorbike, motorbike. Now let's learn these adjectives, okay? So adjectives are words that describe a noun, okay? Exciting, exciting. Boring, boring. Terrible, terrible. Relaxing, relaxing. Uncomfortable, uncomfortable. Dangerous, dangerous. Expensive, expensive. Cheap, cheap. Now that we know the vocabulary and the adjectives, we can practice making sentences to answer these questions. The first question, which form of transportation is the most expensive? So, an example answer could be, planes are the most expensive form of transportation. Number 2, which form of transportation is the cheapest? Okay, I can say going somewhere on foot is the cheapest form of transportation. Going somewhere on foot is the cheapest form of transportation. Oh, sorry. Which form of transportation is the safest? Well, in my opinion, bicycle is the safest form of transportation. Okay. And which form of transportation is the most fun? In my opinion, motorbike is the most fun form of transportation. Motorbike. And we haven't used any adjectives yet, so let's practice that right now. So I'll pick an adjective. Dangerous. So, although motorbikes are fun, they can also be dangerous. What else? Boring. So, long plane trips can be very boring. And one more. Relaxing. Traveling by taxi is more relaxing than traveling by car. Okay, let's practice describing a trip that we took in the past. And in doing so, we have to answer these questions. Who did you travel with? And when? What type of transportation did you need? And why? What were the best and worst parts of the trip? So we can use these sentence templates on the side to help us. I'm going to tell you about the time I went to Bali. The transportation I used was plane. We used it because we live in Canada and Bali is very far away. I traveled with my best friend, Nicholas. The best parts of the trip were relaxing on the beach, and it was also very exciting to go snorkeling. The worst part of the trip was the long plane ride and the busy streets. Okay, try to tell me about a trip that you took in the past, using all these sentence templates and the vocabulary at the top of the page. Pause the video and do that now. Okay, hopefully you practiced describing the trip. And let me read this dialogue for you. It's a very realistic chat between two colleagues talking about vacations and trips. Hey Henry, are you going on a trip this winter? Hello Josie. Yes, I think that I will go to my aunt's in Nova Scotia. That's nice. Who will you travel with and what type of transportation will you need? I will travel with my cousin and my sister, and we will go by car. What about you? My travel plans? Well, this winter, I will go with my mother to Montreal. We will travel by bus. Interesting. I hear Montreal is nice. What do you imagine will be the best part of the trip? I imagine that the best part of the trip will be seeing my cousins. They have been living in Montreal for 3 years. It sounds like an exciting trip. Can you tell me about the most relaxing trip you've ever been on? Of course. Let me think. Well, when I was 6 years old, we took a trip to Cuba. That was very relaxing and comfortable. Oh, I hope that I can go to Cuba someday. See you later. Useful language travel idioms. These idioms come from vocabulary related to travel, but can be used in daily life. So an idiom is a phrase or an expression which doesn't mean literally the words it uses. It has a secret meaning or sort of an additional meaning. And it's really important because native speakers will use idioms all the time and we don't even think about it. But we don't realize that ESL student maybe cannot understand the idiom because they just haven't learned it before. So here's the first one. Float your boat. That means to make someone happy, excited, or interested. So you can say, we can watch a comedy movie or an action movie, whatever floats your boat. That's how it's most often used, whatever floats your boat. Oh, what do you want to have for dinner tonight? Do you want to have Chinese food or Indian food? I don't care, whatever floats your boat. To jump ship means to suddenly stop doing something. So she was working at the company for 3 months, but then she jumped ship and no one heard from her again. So it means to quit or just to stop doing something. Jump ship. It's like jumping off a boat. A mile a minute. Very fast. I cannot finish the book as quickly as you. You read a mile a minute. Yeah, some people are very fast at reading. Reading a mile a minute. You can see for each idiom, it doesn't literally mean what the words say. There is an additional or secret meaning. Okay. Fill in the blanks. Sometimes there can be more than one right answer. Number 1. I don't like to drive a car. I'd rather travel on foot. I'd rather travel on foot. Number 2. Traveling business class on an airplane is more than economy class. Traveling business class on an airplane is more expensive than economy class. Really expensive. Number 3. Driving while drunk is very, and that is why it is illegal. Very dangerous. Driving while drunk is very dangerous, and that is why it is illegal. Number 4. If I want some exercise, I go to work on my bicycle. If I want some exercise, I go to work on my bicycle. Number 5. To cross the lake, we need to take the ferry. To cross the lake, we need to take the ferry. Number 6. Long plane rides can often feel very boring. Long plane rides can often feel very boring. Number 7. If I need to get somewhere quickly in the city, I call a taxi. I call a taxi. Number 8. When I was a kid, I went to school by bus. When I was a kid, I went to school by bus. So let's try to put it all together and speak a longer paragraph. I used to travel a lot for work. In my experience, I found that the bus is the cheapest form of travel. In contrast, the plane is the most expensive form of travel. Traveling on foot or by bicycle is probably the safest, but it takes much longer. As for the most fun, I'd have to say that motorbikes are the best. I remember a trip to Iceland 5 years ago. It was really exciting. I traveled with my college friend. We split the cost of everything, so it turned out to be quite cheap. If you share a room with someone, it can be less expensive. We rented a car and traveled around the island. The best parts of the trip were finding cool places to set up our tents and camp for the night. It was very relaxing to fall asleep under the Icelandic stars. The worst parts of the trip were not having a place to shower for more than 5 days. I believe that we smelled terrible. In the future, I would like to go on a trip across Canada. I think that the best form of transportation in Canada is car. Right, that's because Canada is so big, you know. Car is really the best way to travel in Canada. Maybe you can talk about a trip that you took in the past, or talk about what it's like to travel in your country. And you can use the idioms, the vocabulary, or the sentence templates. So thanks for watching the video, and good luck talking about trips.